We're Batman at 89.
Hello, and welcome back to Batminute 89, the podcast where we reflect on the events of Tim Burton's Batman film like some kind of huge, giant mirror, 1 minute at a time. I am one of your hosts, Niall McGowan.
And I am John Parker.
And today we have another guest for the week. Please, everyone, put your bat hands together for Mr. Gaz Flint.
Hi, everyone. Thank you
Gaz.
to Niall and John for asking me to do this.
No problem at all. Thank you for coming on the show. So,
Yeah, no problem at all. Gaz is a good friend of the show, so you may even be back.
I dare say I would. I currently live in Hong Kong at the moment, so we're doing this from one side of the world to another.
yeah, it's like Batminute 89, bringing the world together. So. But today we're talking about minute 22 of Batman, which begins with Bruce Wayne trying to get into Vicki Vale a little bit, and it ends 1 minute later with Alexander Knox and Vicki Vale reflecting on things in a huge mirror. It's just gargantuanly oversized. But
You've done like a pre-pun. We haven't even got there.
This isn't Wayne Manor, though.
But I suppose we should get into the minute here, because it begins with Bruce Wayne starts asking if Vicki is going to be staying in Gotham for a while. Very instantaneously getting into his like, well, I'm gonna jam an oar between her and Knox and get my own action on here. So
That's a bit forward, I think, because what else would he possibly mean by that question? You know, he just is flirting with her left and right, so unsubtle.
Yeah, and Vicki then responds that she will be around a while, and she's intrigued by Alex's giant bat story. Bruce Wayne, he does a deft bit of like, playing it cool of just been like, huh? Oh, right, the Batman, yeah.
Smooth there.
It's like, it couldn't possibly be this guy. I mean, look at the way he reacted to it. So.
It's interesting now he says the Batman as well. The Batman.
Yeah. I always enjoy when people refer to him as the Batman. It just makes it sound cooler for some reason.
Isn't that what they call in the new movie?
I think so, yeah.
The new movie going to be called The Batman. If Ben Affleck wants to do it.
Yeah. But I think after The Dark Knight came out, because there was a few people saying like, oh, the next one will be called like The Caped Crusader. And it's like, oh, that's lame. Like,
that would be a terrible name for a modern Batman movie. That wouldn't work.
Yeah, it would.
But it's, I don't know, Caped Crusader always rubs me up the wrong way. It just sounds too 1960s campy, really, doesn't it? The Dark Knight just sounds like that's a cool title for anything.
Yeah.
But the Caped Crusader is just like, I can imagine some, prat running around in a cape. It doesn't really...
Well, speaking of cool, though, I love Mr. Cool himself, Knox. You get a good close-up of him, because his reaction to Vicki giving him a little promo to Bruce there, his little smile, he looks so cute.
Yeah.
He does pull some gurning faces in that scene.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what that reaction is, because it's kind of like, is he reacting to Bruce saying, like, with his kind of almost dismissive, like, oh yeah, the Batman? Is it kind of like a defensive, like, I'm about to get into defending this now to this guy? Or is it like an orgasmic, Bruce Wayne's talking about my story? Or like, what exactly is this face that he's pulling? It's really weird.
Yeah, I think he's just so happy that anyone would be talking about what he's up to. Because you get the impression everybody just thinks he's worthless in this film.
Yeah.
But then they talk about... Have you talked about it already, Corto Maltese?
Yeah, we did touch on the links to the Dark Knight Returns and that, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you got anything else to, if you want to bring up any other points, go ahead.
Yeah, feel free.
Not at the moment, but I couldn't find out where it was created. Did it first appear in one of Frank Miller's books?
Well, yeah, but apparently it was first in the 1930s, I think.
Yeah, I found that out too.
But it was like apparently, or maybe not that far back, but it was, he was a big influence on
1967.
Frank Miller, so. Oh, there you go. So
1967 it was, created by Hugo Pratt. And if you look at the picture on Wikipedia, it looks a bit like Frank Miller's art. It's like a French comic, and as you say, it's got like a dashing Frenchman.
Well, a good reason, of course, that we're talking about Corto Maltese is because Bruce is very much not impressed with this story about the Batman, because he thinks that it's nothing compared to Vicky's work on Corto Maltese.
Yeah.
And I love how he does this, though, because he's essentially kind of mocking the Batman the same way that the guys at Knox's paper did it. I mean, it's a bit less nasty, but it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's getting that vibe of like you've gone from this really important story writing for like the National Enquirer about like, you know, an alien stole my dog or something like that. You know, it's really just like, oh yeah, the Batman's a bit light after the war in Coto Maltese, but that's part of his keeping things cool. Just like whatever Batman's brought up, just dismiss it. No one would ever suspect at all, ever. But
nobody would suspect the guy who constantly dismisses it.
No one would suspect the billionaire with nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Being the man who dresses up as a bat.
Well, that's actually, like, it kind of ties in, because then Vicki, in a kind of defensive way, then says, like, oh, well, what do you do for a living?
Oh, yeah, and then Alfred interrupts him, doesn't he?
Yeah, but she has a kind of almost a defensive kind of like, well, you know, this is my work, well, what do you do? And he starts into the thing where I have to say, it's absolute, just, it sounds to me like he's getting defensive then, and it's whatever he's about to come up with is absolute, you know, grade A bull plop. Like, it's just, because he goes in this whole like, well, I'm involved in, you know, and it's like, whatever he's about to say is going to be, no, like, you don't do anything, Bruce. We know that you're just a figurehead.
That's the thing. I never got the impression Bruce, like, I know from other movies and comics and things, you know, he's got the company. But in this Bruce Wayne, you don't get the impression he does anything. No, he just sits around being rich. Fair enough. It's a weird question to ask him, because it's not like he's a worker, a champion of the proletariat. He's just sitting around his mansion with his suits of armor.
No, he's not blue collar, is he?
No.
That line as well, I remember, because when me and John were like testing out doing this, we did a review of the trailer, which we never used, because like we never posted it, because it was like the first thing we ever recorded. But this line is properly like, this line's in the trailer, and then it goes from like, oh, what do you do for a living? And then it's like Batman beating up a load of people. And it's kind of like, But at the same time, it annoyed me then, because it's like, well, he doesn't do it for a living. Like, it's like, there's no money in being Batman. Like, if anything, he's spending his own money for a hobby. Like, this isn't his job.
It's a bit like podcasting. He's just in the red.
What, you're not getting paid for this?
Sadly, DC haven't sent the check over yet.
Oh.
No,
Yeah.
it's in the post.
But yeah, anyways, when that happens, then we do get it's actually like almost like a good save by Alfred, because Bruce is probably going to have to make up some stuff, and then it's just like, oh, thank God Alfred's here. So
He's not subtle at all here, though, is he?
no,
Oh, no.
he's not been taking any lessons from Bruce's playbook, because it is just like, well, sir, Commissioner Gordon was compelled to leave. Very unexpectedly, sir.
You could have just pulled him to the side and said, like, or just said, sorry, I need to speak to you about something very urgently. And then pulled him to the side and said, Commissioner Gordon had to leave. Not just in front of Knox and Vale, giving them something to be very suspicious about.
Yeah, I don't get why he does it in front of them. Because why should Bruce, like, assuming we don't know he's Batman, why should he care that Gordon's had to rush off from the party?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That looks suspicious immediately. I mean, he's one of the chiefs of police. Of course he's going to rush off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's also, it could be that like Alfred, that he sees the writing on the wall here with Vicki. He's like, oh, he's with this woman. She's pretty hot. He's probably going to be trying to get his leg over. So I'm going to have to go in hard here and be like, this is what's happening. So if I go in with like, can I have you for a minute? Be like, Alfred, I'm busy. Come on. That kind of thing. So. But it could be as well, like, you wonder what Vicki and Knox are thinking then about, like, why is he so concerned about Gordon leaving? Did they order like some Coke or something? And it's just like, okay, Gordon's gone to get that, and just like, oh, all right, I better go and take care of that then.
They can pull out all the drugs at the billionaire party.
So that's like, oh, Bruce Wayne and Gordon must be tight. Like, what are they up to? What mysterious things are they up to? So.
That wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. That would be like every billionaire party, I imagine.
Well, they're just pulling out all the Class A drugs. Bruce makes a good save after, though, when he's like, he distracts their attention. He's like, what does he say? Well, no, he say, like, it could seem very suspicious, but then he's like, we need some more champagne. So he's got his back covered so that they've got something else to talk about and think about. Like,
yeah.
When he says gives Knox a grant and opened 6 bottles of champagne.
Yeah. He's really distracting from like what just happened.
Yeah, covering his tracks.
Yeah.
And making sure they're not like, well, that was weird. Where are they going?
6 cases, apparently.
Cases, yeah. Jesus. Well, with the grant, though, like, I know he's probably, as you say there, Gaz, trying to just sort of distract people, but is he serious?
Does it come up later? I don't think it comes up later, does it?
Is he genuinely saying, give him a grant? Or is he just sort of winding him up a little bit? Because for all we know, Bruce is that rich. He could genuinely be going, yeah, just give him some money. Like, shut him up, yeah.
I got the feeling, yeah, he does give him a grant.
Well, that's the thing then, because I don't think, even if Bruce did mean it, no, it's never like any time like Knox and Bruce Wayne bump into each other. He's like, yeah, I still haven't got that grant that you promised. Like,
investigate Batman. That's the stupidest grant in the world.
I think the reaction of Alfred, because Alfred already has contempt for Knox because of the. We talked about it in more detail when it happened, but when like Knox, gives him that crumpled up note as like a tip, and Alfred kind of takes it between his fingers, he has a real look of. And now he's just like, oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point because he just insulted the story as well. So
but it could be like it's just the vibe I got from Alfred then when he's walking. Like it's like, oh, and give Knox a grant. Alfred doesn't flinch. He's just like, I'm not giving that guy a grant. Like it's not even like for how much. Like how much am I supposed to give him? It's just like, nope, he's not getting a goddamn penny. That paperwork is gonna get lost very quickly.
But if he did actually give him the grant, it's like, is giving him the grant to investigate more into who Batman is.
I think Knox knows he's probably not gonna get it either because he has this look of like, he does that like, oh, talk to you later, Wayne, and he has this instance of like these rich people, like this real like look of like this whole is like
absolutely.
Again, that could be also covering his tracks pretty well as well, though. Just been like, well, why would I? If I was Batman, I wouldn't give a reporter money to investigate him now, would I? It's just...
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, I've slowed the footage down. And if you look at Bruce's face, right, I don't know if this is an accident or a deliberate acting choice. If you look, after he's offered him the grant, he gives a cheeky little smile. As if he knows he ain't giving him a damn thing. He's like, it could just be an accident from the actor. You've got to slow it down and zoom in. Oh, we go deep.
Got to do it Blade Runner style, like
Yeah, enhance. So I don't know. It could just be the actor. It could be Michael Keaton just giving a little smile, but it could be deliberate as well. Could be part of the character there.
Yeah, he's like smiling and laughing like, I've got so much money, I can give him a grant. I don't even know what he's doing.
But it could just be, it's just his cheeky nature as well of just like, oh, give this guy a grant, like a little like it's nothing to me, but yeah, go ahead and give him some money, But yeah, they're thinking that's why Knox's reaction is pretty interesting because it's a real like, it gives him the nicety of a goodbye, but then he does have this real like these rich people, like this is crazy, The thing that really bugs me with Knox's reaction as well, it's like you think he would be a bit more grateful if he believed he was actually going to get this grant because he's just it's like, it was nice talking to you, Wayne, but then it's just like these rich people, like this real disgust in his voice. It's like the guy just gave you a grant. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I think he must know that it's not gonna happen, because he's probably heard that a million times in his life and never actually got anything out of it at all.
Yeah. The one thing I should notice as well, because I'm sure as you know yourself, Gaz, that Michael Keaton wasn't a fan favorite at the time when he was cast.
No.
And there's things here you can almost see why, because when Alfred, decrepit old Michael Goff, comes in, and then it's just like he's the exact same height as Michael Keaton. It's just like Michael Keaton's this little tiny man who's the same height as this old guy.
He's not a tall guy, is he? But Christian Bale's not very big either, though, is he? Christian Bale's not a tall guy.
No. But I don't think there's any. Although there are shots with him and Michael Caine together, so I should look to see if like a Christian Bale and Michael Caine to say whether they give him lifts. Because you'd think with Batman, you'd want him to look like, the most imposing presence in the room. But I guess, with Bruce Wayne, it kind of works as like, he's a little guy, but he's not in the suit here, though, is he? So it's...
Well, that's the thing. If you remember in an earlier minute, we did speculate that maybe Batman has lifts in his boots.
Yeah,
just for the overall presence.
Yeah, it would.
Although it'd be a bit weird if he had like big platform shoes or something. It'd just be like really stupid.
Like a glam rocker.
But who else was the favourites to play Batman? I can't think there was anyone else really tall.
I think there's more people who are a bit more action hero-y looking.
Right, okay, like physically, like look better for the role.
No, there was no like. I think they were going for like people like Mel Gibson and stuff was in contention.
Okay, yeah. Got an Australian Batman.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think like there was any like they weren't going to get in like Andre the Giant or something into playing. But
now
that I would have watched.
Yeah, not going to get Schwarzenegger or Stallone. No, Andre would surely be the Joker, yeah, and they'd get Hulk Hogan in to be Batman.
Sold. I'm there. Day one.
That would have been around like when did Hulk Hogan start acting? Was it in the 90s?
I think he's in like Over the Top and like that was like 1981 or something. That wasn't. That was like.
I think he started acting in the 80s, but not like big lead roles. I don't think until kind of late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah. When's Rocky 3 as well? Like that's mid 80s as well, isn't it? So
yeah, but even then he's still not like a big part of the movie. But then by the time you're like at like 92, he's the lead, isn't he? In a bunch of terrible but brilliant movies.
Rocky 3 was 82.
Yeah, well, there you go. Like his way back when.
Thunderlips.
Yeah.
The amazing character.
But if Hulk Hogan played Batman, you know he wouldn't shave that tash. So it would just be like the most obvious. Like, I'd be like, this Batman and Bruce Wayne seem to have the same facial hair. Oh, everyone has a blonde handlebar mustache. I mean, come on.
And it'd have the blonde hair peeking out the back of the mask there, just crawling down the neck. Silken blonde hair like that of a Chinese man.
And the skin of a boiled hot dog.
Now that is a terrifying bat.
What other classic 80s wrestlers would be Batman villains?
Take your pick. I mean, most of them look like Batman villains.
Sure it'd be like Macho Man as Mr. Freeze or something. Like it'd be.
Oh God, yes.
They're gonna bring a freeze to Gotham.
Rowdy Roddy Piper might be Riddler.
Oh, now that's an interesting choice. I think that would work, but it's not the first thing that would come to my mind. I like that.
The thing is, Roddy Piper is more like a proper actor as well. Like he's actually like quite a respectable performer. Whereas like Hulk Hogan is just like, nope, done. Like this guy cannot distract from the fact that it's Hulk Hogan at all. So
are you dissing Mr. Nanny?
Jake the Snake would be Scarecrow.
Oh, okay.
That's got to require you to be a wrestling nerd and a Batman nerd to get that.
Yeah, playing the mind games and stuff. I like that.
Exactly.
I'm not as much into the wrestling, so like that's a reference that went right over my head. So,
so welcome to Wrestle Minute.
WrestleMania Minute.
Oh God, review every WrestleMania 1 minute at a time.
Oh man.
I feel like by the time you're 60, it's like, well, that's WrestleMania 2 done.
That's our project coming in the winter.
But no, Jake the Snake was all about the mind games. So anyway, off tangent here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, where's the button? The button.
The button. Oh, the button. I've lost the button. Oh my God. There we go.
There we go.
So did we discuss? We touched on Knox having a little dig at the rich, but I love what he actually says because he deduces that they're so odd because they can afford to be, which is probably true because I know if I was rich, I would just be doing anything I could imagine. I'd be flying Zeppelins over cities, dropping pennies for people.
Oh, yeah.
Wearing a top hat, distributing soft drinks.
Like I remember at the, like at the end of, There Will Be Blood, and it's just like Daniel Plainview, like he's just made so much money, but he's got no one else in his life, but he's just like sitting, he's lying drunk on the floor of his own bowling alley, and like a butler comes in and just gives him like a steak for breakfast, and then like in other periods he's just sitting in this like vast hallway just shooting vases and stuff with a rifle because it's just like means nothing to him. It's like if I was rich, I would totally be doing. I would hope I'd be a bit happier than that guy, but I would still be doing all that stuff. So. Oh
yeah, I think it happens. It happens to everybody. If you're that rich that you can just do anything you want all the time, I mean, it's fantastic. But at the same time, you would be kind of lost. So you just put all your money and effort into the craziest things, like doing a minute-by-minute podcast.
Over then you see the Knox after that goes into like, well, look at this look at this mirror. And then as a slight thing, in the original script, Vicki Vale gets the, Bruce Wayne, like that little joke, because it's a giant mirror. But
Vane.
But then apparently Robert Wool was just like, no, I'm the funny one. I'm taking the Bruce Wayne lines.
To be honest, when he says Bruce Wayne, though, I know what he's saying. He's vain, but all I can hear is the voice of Bela Lugosi.
Me too.
Bruce Wayne. Thank God. Yes. Same wavelength.
Well, not so much Bela Lugosi, but yeah, old school Hammer horror.
Yeah, and it ties into what we've been talking about, where they all seem to think that the Batman is an actual vampire bat.
Yeah,
and a monster.
Yeah,
there's a recurring thing throughout the film where they keep he keeps doing the Dracula cape move, and everything about him is making him sound like it's like he's a vampire bat. And it's like maybe that's why that's why Tim Burton liked it so much. It's like, oh, it sounds like Lugosi doing Bruce Wayne, like that kind of.
I said it as a kind of joke, like, oh, I'm stupid. But now we've discussed it, I think he might actually have put it in deliberately.
From this then we see, because we talked with, we had Ricky Wiley on the old podcast last week, guys. You know Ricky.
Cool.
We were talking about all the different suits of armor, but there's one we get a close-up of here, and I wanted to wait to talk about it, because it's like, this thing needs to be broken down right here.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
No, this one is when they're looking in the mirror, and in the top left corner, there's this thing. It looks like it looks like a devil or something. It's a real.
Oh, okay, I've not clocked that one.
No, I didn't notice either.
Oh yeah, it's weird. I'll put up like a screen cap of it in the when the episode airs, so people know what it is. But it's like a guy. Because I've got the image up here. I'll do a little quick snapshot and send it on over. And this one's you're not even getting the full thing. They got that guy in the corner, but then there's even I'll try to get another shot of him, because he's holding like a kite as well. He's got like a kite in his back.
Okay. No, I do remember him now.
But this is the one, like, because we talked for ages about that, about the different suits of armor, and then this one was like, I've gotta wait to get into this guy, because what the f***?
Well, I want to talk about the. It'll be in the next minute, I guess, because you can see it better. The firefighter kind of guy.
Oh yeah, we did there's a guy, the guy with the kind of World War I sort of thing, the gas mask and stuff. Is that what you? Is that
yeah.
But yeah, you see like this a good close up of this other suit of armor that we didn't talk about, which is it's just bizarre. It's like, it doesn't look like armor. It looks like a Halloween costume of a devil, but it's like a guy, but he's also holding like a big glider or like a kite or something at his back, and it's all red and green squares and stuff. It's just what is this thing? What country is it from? Why is it? Because it doesn't look like it's a suit of armor. It just looks like, well, what is it? If you
remember, I think Ricky. I think it might have been Ricky, or I'm assuming him, not you. Speculated that a lot of this armor was here as like influence for Bruce to create the Batman armor and things.
That's what I get the impression of.
Yeah,
it's all inspiration to him.
Yes, maybe that's what the kite's for. Is like.
Oh yeah, maybe his bat wings.
Yeah.
You touched upon Spring-Heeled Jack in this podcast.
We did actually, yeah.
Well, we didn't. Ricky did.
Okay. Do you guys know much about Spring-Heeled Jack?
Well, he kind of gave a very quick summary of it. Yeah, but like I just know like vague legends about him. Yeah, but
but if you Google Spring-Heeled Jack, you'll see he was one of the influencers for how he should look, Batman. And there's a few pictures where it just does look like Batman. Because there used to be a it was called Penny Dreadfuls. There used to be a comic about Spring-Heeled Jack.
Oh yeah.
Which completely distorted what the myth was. Because Spring-Heeled, well, it was just a legend that it was just a figure that looked like a demon that had armor and big wings that could jump over buildings that attacked people. And I think in the Penny Dreadful, yeah, basically, yeah. Then I think I don't know what they did with it in the Penny Dreadful. I get the feeling they might have turned him into a hero.
Well, there is a Victorian Batman, isn't there? A comic.
Yeah.
Gotham by Gaslight, illustrated by Mike Mignola, who's famous for Hellboy.
Well, you're a huge Hellboy fan, aren't you, Gaz? That's your thing.
I think that might have been the only reason I read it originally, because I was like, Mike Mignola's done some Batman. It wasn't that good. In all honesty, it wasn't one of the best Batman books I've read.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was really intrigued.
That's about all I remember. I think it might have even is he tracking down Jack the Ripper in it, or is that something else? Yeah, there's a story, but I don't know if it's that Gotham by Gaslight one.
Oh, I'll still check it out, even though you don't like it too much. I think it's probably still worth a read or a look.
It
anyway.
was years ago when I read it, and I don't remember it, so don't remember it that well. So that tells you
in a good or a bad way.
Yeah. If we get some of the listeners will be just like screaming at their podcast players now, going like, "What? I thought they say this, you idiots!" But
they've done comic books, haven't they? Like Batman Throughout Time.
Oh, that's interesting to me. I mean, as someone who's largely into the movies, I find it a little weird, but it's a bit more interesting than just Batman in space or something.
Oh, I remember now. They were going to do a computer game of it, Batman in like Victoria era.
Oh,
and you can look it up online. They've got footage of it. They got quite far into it, and then I can't remember why they stopped making it.
Oh, no, I'd play that. That sounds great.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it looked like Batman meets Assassin's Creed or something.
That'd be perfect as well, because you'd be a good excuse to have even more detective stuff in it than in another Batman game, like a modern one.
Well, I think, obviously, the Arkham games came along, and that rewrote everything.
Yeah. It's one of those things, too. It's just like Batman running through, I guess, like Victorian London would be, because you'd have buildings and stuff there. But, like, you think Batman, you think a guy, gliding around a big city. But then, like, well, back then, it's like, well, the buildings have been tall enough for it to be impressive of him jumping around the place and stuff.
Hey, still would have been impressive to those people. They'll have thought he's a monster. But anyway.
One of the other things about that bit of armor, though, is that some people have speculated that it's actually a reference to Kite Man. Because we had last week where we're saying that the World War I looking guy was made. Potentially, people were saying that it's a reference to the Batman villain Ratcatcher, and we kind of we kind of poo-pooed that theory.
Oh yeah, because he wears a gas mask, doesn't he?
Yeah, but it was the times didn't match. It was like Ratcatcher he was created in like 1988, and it's like I don't think they would have been that on the ball to get him in as an Easter egg that early. But some people, the same kind of people, have been like, well, this is obviously a Burtonized version of Kite Man, who is one of the Batman villains from the 60s, and it's basically like the name sums him up. It's like he's a criminal, he uses kites. He's one of those silly villains that you see in Lego Batman now, because they're just like, this guy's really stupid, we're going to have to put him in the film. So.
Really stupid, and they're running out of villains.
I've read a lot of Batman books, I've never heard of him, so it shows how important he is these days.
Yeah, apparently it was used in Batman the Brave and the Bold, which is one of the campier cartoons, but he was voiced by Jeffrey Combs, who obviously voiced the Scarecrow in the animated series at one point. And like Jeffrey Combs, like really renowned. Like Jeffrey Combs has played Herbert West in Reanimator, and he's like a big horror movie actor. But then the fact that they got him in to play Kite Man, who just sounds like the silliest villain ever. But like, I'm assuming maybe that was supposed to be the thing, that Jeffrey Combs sounds a bit more grand and villainous and a bit more intimidating. And it's just like, well, you get that voice and apply it to a really silly villain. You got comedy right there, basically.
Yeah, you've got gold, basically. Maybe. But getting back to this mirror that they're stood in front of, because as the minute ends, we discover it's not just a mirror; it's a two-way mirror. Yeah. It's Bruce's dirty Norman Bates-esque filthy peephole of a mirror, pretty much.
Well, isn't the whole mansion that? He's got cameras set up everywhere.
Pretty much the whole mansion. Yeah, so as we'll see a little bit more about that in the next minute, he does kind of watch everyone at all times, and you can hear as the minute ends here a camera sort of whir as it turns or focuses on something.
Yeah,
and that's just as the minute ends, you hear that, and you've got dirty Bruce spying on everyone in his house.
I don't think he's going for a voyeurism angle. I think did he have the party to spy on all of Gotham's rich and powerful to find out what's going on? Was it all part of his plan?
Well, that's a good thing to consider, actually. I mean, on the surface, it's a fundraiser, but he very well could just be trying to get some information out of, like,
I think that's what he's doing.
Elites. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Nice one.
I don't think he's set them up so he can have, I don't know, wild parties. I think he's spying on the elite, getting the lowdown.
It's funny you brought it up, though, because we did think initially it's a bit weird that Bruce is the one hosting this fundraiser for the fair or the festival, because he just seems like he's not interested in the daily life of everyone in the city. That's the appearance he gives off. So it's quite weird that he would have the fundraiser. He must have another motive, which I think you've hit on.
Yeah.
I do like the idea though of like he's actually got the camera set up though in that armory, because it's either that like Bruce Wayne has been trying on all those suits of armor as well, and he's just been like dancing around in front of the mirror, making it. Or it's either that, or Alfred was doing it, and Bruce is like, I'm gonna catch him in the act. He keeps denying it, but I'm gonna set up a damn camera at the back of the mirror, and he'll never know. So there's just Bruce Wayne sitting watching all this footage of Alfred going around with a weird kite outfit, just been like, eh.
I like the idea of Bruce dressing up in it and prancing around, and then going into that little room you're going to see in the next minute, spoiler, and watching it all back and just seeing himself. How do I look?
But yeah, like that's also because we do get a bit more focus on the camera. In the next minutes.
One last note I had actually before we move on, a minor thing I only just noticed at the last second. We finally, after all this time, we've got the music back.
Oh,
so music kicks in.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah,
it's been a good few minutes.
Yeah, it's about a while since we heard Elfman, because like even before. Well, like a scene of complete silence, and even before that was Prince. So it's like Elfman returns. So.
That's the next movie.
As in Danny Elfman, or an Elfman returns, and Batman fights some kind of Elfman.
That would have made a great story, and have Danny Elfman play it. There you go, done, sold. I'm there.
That was the other thing. I always felt that Danny Elfman back in the 80s, like he could have played like the Joker, because he had that look, like, he had that real the kind of the crazy hair, but then he had like the real sharp eyebrows, and he always had this big gurning sort of sinister grin. And I was like, that's the Joker there.
He'd always wear like dress pants and a vest as well, wouldn't he? And smart shoes.
Yeah.
So that in itself looks like something like a villain, maybe.
Yeah. But because it could have been a thing. He's just like, well, if Jack turns you down, Tim, I know someone who might want to play the Joker. It's like, yeah, tough luck, Danny.
Has Danny Elfman done any acting?
Beyond the Nightmare Before Christmas, but that's just singing, isn't it? So it's not really acting either.
Yeah. What about, is it the Forbidden Zone, the film he was in?
He's in Forbidden Zone. It's even more like the Joker. He appears as the devil, and he's in like a white coat, like fancy frock coat with tails and a bow tie, and it's he's singing a version of Minnie the Moocher, but all the lyrics were changed to be relevant to the plot of what's happening. So
I knew you'd know it.
But yeah, that's all I've got for minute 22 myself. So
yeah, we'll wrap it up. So yes, make sure to join us again on Wednesday, where we will have minute 23 of Batman. And check us out on the Facebook pages. So we've got Batminute 89 and the Batminute 89 Listeners Society. That's the group you can join. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, all of them, Batminute 89. And make sure to review us on iTunes or your scum. Gaz, would you like to plug anything? Have you got anything to plug at all?
No.
No,
not at the moment.
No worries. No problem. Yes, once again, join us on Wednesday for minute 23 of Batman.
To the Bat Computer! Which iconic erudite electronics lay behind our intruding trust fund baby's suspicious surveillance system? I kind of already told you at the beginning of this, but in case you missed it, find out next time. Same Bat Pod.
Different Bat Minute.